Savage Roar is more than a defensive utility on Lone Druid. Notice that right now, this Lone Druid is level 3 with only 1 point in Bear and 1 point in Savage Roar. Check out this amazing play he is about to make. He hits level 4, he's going to level up Spirit Link. Notice he's still saving 1 point, and watch this. He uses his Savage Roar, levels up his Bear, and there is the pro move right there. After you level up your Bear, it refreshes the cooldown on Savage Roar, giving him the second Savage Roar available for him to secure the kill on the Bat Rider. A man who owns a bear and also becomes a bear. Of course, I'm talking about none other than Lone Druid. This fast-paced, micro-intensive hero and building killing machine is a fantastic hero to have in your arsenal. If you've already enjoyed the Beastmaster and Lycan guides linked below, then why not add another micro-based badass to your hero pool? Welcome everybody, my name is Navetz, and on behalf of myself and my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, I'd like to teach you all a thing or two about winning with Lone Druid. Lone Druid can be played both mid or safe lane, and there are two fundamental builds. I've already created a video showing Excalibur execute the Radiance build, so I'll link that in the description below. Today, we're going to be talking about the Mask of Madness build. A breakdown of the tutorial is as follows. We'll begin by looking at item builds and variations, then we'll go into skill builds in the talent tree, and then we'll have a couple micro-based general tips that can help you root more often, and then we'll watch a game to see how the gameplay is executed. We will complete the guide by discussing drafting and item variation after the replay is complete. Starting off with the items. Okay, everyone. Now, this is going to be slightly different depending on which lane you're playing in. So you can take Lone Druid with this build either mid or safe lane. If you are playing in the safe lane, you might want to consider an Orb of Venom first on your bear. But if you're playing in the mid lane, I would probably suggest going with a Blightstone first. The reason for this is because we will eventually be building into Desolator in a lot of standard cases. This is obviously the Mask of Madness build. So to continue to explain the differences between the mid and the safe lane, if you are mid lane, what you're going to want to do is go for the Mask of Madness as soon as possible and use the Mask of Madness to try to take the mid tower. You don't need boots because you're not going to be traveling that far of a distance from your mid tier 1 tower over to your creep camps, and you're not going to be rotating until you do have your boots. But your objective as the Lone Druid mid after you get the Mask of Madness is to put a lot of pressure on the mid tower and try to take it as quickly as possible. If you're in the safe lane, what you're going to want to do is get your boots on your Druid and your phase boots on your bear as fast as you can. Then the next step, what you're going to buy is the Desolator. Desolator is going to be the next item that you get on the bear. And then after Desolator, I would suggest going for either an AC or a Skull Basher. Depending on the heroes that you're playing against, you have to make judgment calls. Now, an item that I don't have included here, but I should, is a BKB. BKB is usually your third or fourth item on the bear. It's very important. The reason we are going for an Assault Cuirass is because of the increased attack speed, and then most likely we'll get a Skull Basher that builds into an Abyssal Blade. There are cases where you're not going to want to build the Desolator. Those cases are when you need a Monkey King bar. So if you're playing against somebody with a lot of evasion like PA, or if you're playing against somebody like a Windrunner or a Tinker who can blind you, all of these are really good instances to not go for Desolator and go for Monkey King bar on the bear instead. You're not going to want to go back for the Desolator, you're just going to want to go straight Monkey King bar. Now, looking into the skill build, I have seen here that some people have recommended going for a complete skippage of Savage Roar. So this is a little bit weird here, because playing Lone Druid really depends on the pace of the game. It really dictates which spells you're going to get, but you do want to get Savage Roar early, sometimes even as your second spell, as you'll see in the replay that we are about to watch. The reason for this is because Savage Roar can be used every 38 seconds at level 1, but it can be used to deny people from getting last hits. So if you're in the safe lane and somebody's trying to get a last hit, you can Savage Roar them away and deny them a ranged last hit, which is really important and very beneficial to you. You're going to want to get Spirit Link as well, and then at level 6, sometimes you'll get more points in Spirit Link, but sometimes you're going to want to get your True Form. Now this is really dependent on how much pressure is on you. Sometimes you'll save a skill point and get True Form earlier. If you don't have True Form, you have to be very sure that you have a advantageous team fight to take the fight. So there's a lot of judgment based calls with Lone Druid that you have to make. You don't want to be caught in a situation where you don't have True Form and you need it inside of a fight, because True Form gives you a significant increase in HP, 500, 1000 to 1500 plus 10, 15 and 20 armor. It is incredibly important to have. Moving on, we're going to look at the talents, and I really don't like the way Tortellini had his talent set up, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what he had and why I suggest against it. So I would say take 25 Spirit Bear movement speed over 200 health. The reason is because, one, we're going Mask of Madness that increases the amount that we heal based on Spirit Link's shared healing. So Mask of Madness, if your bear is attacking and then you have your Spirit Link at level 2, 3, 1, whatever, you will heal a significant percentage. This 200 health not that important, and when you have True Form, it's way better. So getting the Spirit Bear to be able to close distance is more important. Secondly, most of the time I will recommend taking the minus 10 second Savage Roar cooldown. It becomes incredibly important because, one, it cancels cancels TPs. It saves your hero in multiple situations. If your hero gets stunned and you use Savage Roar on your bear, then it casts Savage Roar on both units, or vice versa. If your bear gets stunned and you cast Savage Roar on your hero it'll still cast Savage Roar on both units, and you'll be able to save your bear. So Savage Roar cooldown, really important. Also, you don't really need to go for the +8 Spirit Bear armor, because you're very frequently going to take the Assault Cuirass as your third item. After you go Mask of Madness into Desolator, you're frequently going to go Assault Cuirass. Sometimes you'll go Skullbasher before that, and then at level 20, I would suggest taking the minus 32 second True Form cooldown, because it is a little bit better, I believe, than the extra roots that you get. You get quite a few roots off when you have Mask of Madness. Your hero attacks very quickly. And then at level 25, this one really depends on how the game is going, but the minus 0.15 Spirit Bear attack time I would recommend. So that is how the talents will play out. And then I really wish I did include the BKB in here, but usually after you get these items here, usually you'll go, like I said, Desolator, AC, probably Abyssal, then BKB, or Desolator, AC, BKB, then into your Skullbasher and your Abyssal Blade. That's how you would like to play the game out. Now, the farther the game goes, the more late game items you can look into getting. There's obviously Mjolnirs that can be good. You can get Agnum Scepter on the Lone Druid to let his bear run around the map. That kind of progression in the later game, you need to make the executive decision. So for some quick tips on how to micro the Lone Druid and his bear, you can use the control groups. I could put my bear and my hero inside of control group 1, and then maybe just my bear in control group 2. Or I could use my unit actions, and that would be select hero, which is F1. Then I could select all controlled units, which would select my hero, my bear, and any other summons I have, actually. And then I could also set my control group for select all other units, or my unit action for select all other units, which I have set to F3. If you want a full breakdown on a micro guide, I do have that available in the description below as well. We are preparing for bounty runes, and while we're not going to see it in this replay, one thing that you should be aware of is that your bear can pick up bounty runes. So what I like to do is I like to send my bear over to this ruin to see if they can fight for bounty ruins. If I'm a mid player, I'll walk my bear up this way into the bounty ruin while I sit at this one with my main Lone Druid, and then I can teleport my bear back to my hero by pressing the Q button, and that allows you the opportunity to potentially snipe an extra bounty ruin if somebody's not there, or if they commit both heroes to fight for this bounty ruin. Now our boy four gunners for Zoomers, Gunnar did not do that this game, but that is a very important thing to do with Lone Druid. Now, this is not the game that I initially wanted to show. I had a different replay lined up because, and it's not, I'm showing a different one because the other one wouldn't load. I don't know what was up with the Dota 2 game client, but I did watch through this one, and it is a very good example of how to use the Mask of Madness build on Lone Druid. So we'll see how effective it can be, and we'll watch Gunnar, who is a fantastic Lone Druid player, execute this build. One thing that is a little bit different, and it's been about I've recorded this video in different chunks, so it's been a few days since I recorded the first chunk, and it seems that the meta has shifted slightly in a very short period of time from being a Desolator meta into being an Mkb meta. And I'm not sure if if Gunnar does this all the time, or if he sometimes goes Desolator. I can speculate on the reason he goes Mkb instead of Desolator. I'll do that a bit later. Actually, I'll just tell you right now. I think it's because Luna typically builds a butterfly, or might build a butterfly, and because Void Spirit has Resonate Pulse, which makes him absorb a certain amount of physical damage, and Mkb adds potential for bonus magical damage, and that is probably why he's going for the Mkb. One other thing that we're going to see in this analysis is how fantastic Gunnar is at using his Savage Roar. Now, he doesn't have Savage Roar yet, but I did create another clip to show you the pro trick you can use in terms of getting a second Savage Roar off in the laning phase. When your bear levels up, it refreshes the cooldown on Savage Roar. So if you have a level in Savage Roar, for example, at level 2, and then you get level 3, you can go forth, Savage Roar the Void Spirit, and then level up your bear and Savage Roar him again. And when a unit is feared, they can't use spells, they can't activate items, they can't do anything. They're just running back to their base as fast as they can. So sometimes that can set up a good opportunity to kill, as we saw earlier in the clip that I started with. Now, we're watching the way that Gunnar lanes this. We're going to go ahead and look at the starting items. And the starting items were the Quelling Blade and the Orb of Venom. The second item he's gone for here is the Blades of Attack, the +9 damage on the bear. The reason he's getting this is because he's obviously going to go for Phase Boots. Now, remember that I said if you are in the safe lane, you most likely want to go for your Phase Boots and your boots on your bear before you're going to get the Mask of Madness. I stand by that. If you're in the mid lane, though, sometimes I do like to go Mask of Madness first, because you don't have to travel as far between creep camps, and in the safe lane you do have to travel quite a bit farther. You travel between these two camps to this tower, all the way down to your tower, and sometimes you might get initiated or gone on or need to close distance, and that's where the bear is very effective. Now, another thing to know about your bear is that when you are microing both your bear and your hero, and you're trying to get attacks on the enemy, what you should be doing is you should select both of your units and have them attack the hero, but then you should stutter step and move your bear so that you're not using the full backswing animation of the bear each time. And the bear has a pretty big backswing, so if you micro your bear individually to attack and then move forward on his own, you'll get more hits off on the person that you're chasing than if you were to just allow your bear to attack itself. So you need to use stutter step movements to get more attacks off. And what we're going to see here is Lone Druid is basically, well, Gunnar is basically going to set his bear to harass the Void Spirit as much as possible, but he's not going to be able to kill him. What he really needs to be careful of is actually getting killed himself, because at level 6, if this Void Spirit gets to level 6 and Lone Druid doesn't get to level 6 at the same time as him, he can zip forward and burst a big amount of damage onto the Lone Druid himself. He only has 720 health, whereas the bear has 1625. And if you kill the Lone Druid, you essentially kill the bear, which is exactly what the Void Spirit would want. Now, Void Spirit's going for the bounty run. Our friend, the Lone Druid, is sitting in the laning phase by himself, which is exactly what he wants right now. His goal is to maximize his farm. So what he's going to do essentially right now is just try to push these lanes out so he can farm this lane, go over here, farm this camp, and then come meet the wave back here again. So we'll see how he does this. He's not necessarily going to push the wave, but he's not necessarily going to push the wave because he also doesn't want the Void Spirit to get extra experience right now, and there's not a ton for him to gain by taking this extra small camp. He has a catapult up as well, so if he can do damage to the tower, he will, but you'll see that that's generally the pattern that you take as a carry player when you start getting farther ahead. And I would say around like the 6.5 to 7 minute mark, he might start doing that. We'll see how it goes. So he is getting the last hits, making sure he secures the ranged ones. He's going to try to get a deny on his range creeps. No, he's not. He is going to back up and go to this camp now. So here he goes. He's at the camp. We're going to see his skill build. Notice that he's level 6 and he's gone Spirit Link level 2 instead of going for True Form. That's a little bit scary, but he knows he's ahead of this Void Spirit. So Void Spirit's only level 5, whereas Lone Druid is currently level 6. We're going to switch Fog to the Radiant only. So in the future, we know exactly what Lone Druid knows, and we know exactly what kind of vision he has. So if we look at the minimap, we can see how he makes his decisions on where to move on the map and what his thought process might be like. So this is the Resonate Pulse I was talking about. Every time he uses it, the Void Spirit saves himself a little bit of damage, and he also secures some last hits, and that might be the reason that he goes for the MKB over the Desolator, as I mentioned. And Gunner saying, well played, well played. Our boy Void Spirit has, I think he just blocked this camp, but he knows that he's over here. So Gunner is now pushing out the wave and denying any creeps that he has in deny range. So if they're below 50% HP, he wants to deny them, but if they're not, then he's going to go ahead and get his last hits. He's trying to time it so when he does last hit, his bear and his hero attack at the same time, and he sees that the Void Spirit is trying to pull the creep wave over here, and he's not allowing that. He chases him down, forces the Void Spirit to get out of, or forces the Void Spirit to use 2 astral steps to leave, and he has the phase boots on his bear now. The phase boots basically allow him to dominate the lane. He has the phase boots on his bear, and next he actually hasn't taken boots on his main Lone Druid yet, which is fine. He'll probably get them on his main Lone Druid after he completes the Mask of Madness. So he does have the Quarterstaff, which gives him 10 damage, 10 attack speed, and next he's going to take the Morbid Mask, which gives him 15%, which gives him passive lifesteal. And the additional passive lifesteal passive lifesteal in addition to the Spirit Link is so strong at leveling, so strong at healing your primary Lone Druid. Because of the way Spirit Link works and how much lifesteal you share, it makes it really beneficial for you to be able to completely heal your main hero, and we'll see that take effect in a bit as well. Right now we're going to see what Lone Druid's doing, why he's come up to this lane. So he just sacrificed his lane. He left his lane to come up top and push this tower with the Beastmaster. You have to wonder how many players would have done that. They let the Keeper of the Light play down here to push out the waves with his Q, and at the same time they are taking the tower top. So the bear does have Demolish, which gives him bonus building damage of 10, 20, 30, up to 40% when he's at level 4, helping him take towers really quick. Now it's the Keeper of the Light's job here to try to push out these waves. That was their intention, but they did commit the Exorcism down here. Luna is also pushing down here, so they did trade towers. They were hoping that Lone Druid could come top, play with the Beastmaster, and they were going to be able to push out their tower with Keeper of the Light, but they've had to commit 2 cores over here, while what the Dire side is going to do is try to control this whole area of the jungle. So if I'm to highlight it, this is what they're going to try to control, this part of the map. And if they can control that part of the map, it also gives them control around Roshan, which means if they kill anybody with the bear and with Beastmaster's attack aura, they should be able to take an early Rosh, especially if he goes Desolator. But like I said, he's not going Desolator. So he does have the Mask of Madness. He has the phase boots on the bear. He constantly uses the phase boots to close distance between camps, and then he uses the Mask of Madness to farm the camps. He'll use these phase boots as well to close distance on heroes and to attack in the same way. Now he's teleporting into the lane because he's looking for a fight. Keeper of the Light did engage in his, or did throw down his Will-O-Wisp. And one thing I have to go back to show you because I didn't mention it, it just happened. Let's go back 10 seconds. Is the teleportation that happens on the Lone Druid. So watch as the Lone Druid teleports. Once he gets to 3 seconds, he's going to start teleporting his bear, because this bear teleportation has a 3-second channeling time. You have to watch to see how long it's channeling for. So this was a long teleportation. The reason it was a long teleportation is because more than one person teleported to this tower. If he was the first person to teleport to this tower, it would have been a 3-second teleportation, but because he was not the first, it was a 5-second teleportation. So he had to wait 2 seconds before he channeled his return on his bear. Otherwise, what would have happened is if he would have started teleporting, returned his bear would have returned directly to him, and then he would have teleported here, and he would have had no way to bring his bear next to him without resummoning it or walking it from this area of the map down to this area of the map. And now we're going to just watch him continue to farm. He hasn't had to do anything crazy yet. He's just trying to jungle and farm as fast as he can. This is the point in the game where you can take any camp very, very easily. The other thing he's going to start doing is putting his main hero, especially if his bear isn't at full health, he'll put his main hero in the path of the creep camps, so the creeps start attacking his main hero instead of his bear. And the reason he does that is because of the shared lifesteal. When the bear attacks, it will regenerate the Lone Druid's health, and we'll see that later on when they go to Roche. When they go for a Roche attempt, he's actually going to tank Roshan with his main hero and allow his bear to heal up his main hero. Now, the part of the map that he's playing, he sees that they're up here. They had vision that just got dewarded, but he sees that they're there, so he's going to just push out this bottom part of the map. Excuse me, not bottom part of the map, middle part of the map. And he's going to retreat back into his jungle to look for more farming opportunities. There is an arcane ruin, but he doesn't really care that much about it. He could send his bear to take the ruin. Another note, if you're playing mid, is that your bear can pick up runes. So around when the first bounty runes, or when the first power runes spawn at the 4-minute marks, you should send one bear to the rune, and then your hero up here. And if anybody comes to contest you, you can have a point in Savage Roar to send them away and basically ensure that you have rune control with Lone Druid. That's part of the reason why he's also a good mid. Now check this out. This is a really good play. Unfortunately, he was not able to get a root off, but he unslept his bear with his main hero, just used Roar there, and was able to secure a kill on the Void Spirit. The Bane got away, but they are now chasing down the Death Prophet. He's using his phase boots. His Mask of Madness was on cooldown. There is the root, and he's going to back up his bear a little bit out of the range of the Spirit Siphon, and now they're going to chase again. With the ability to close distance that the bear has, they can chase very easily. The Death Prophet does manage to get away. Pretty tanky hero herself, especially considering how much life Spirit Siphon siphons. Now you're going to see here the continued farm and pressure that this Radiant side is going to put on the Dire. Notice that they're farming the whole Dire side of the jungle. Radiant side is not being touched, and this is what you need to do when you're trying to press an advantage. You want to farm the enemy's camps. And here we are. He is, as his main hero, tanking the damage from these guys. His bear is healing up with the Mask of Madness. Anytime his main hero takes damage, the bear heals him right away through the shared lifesteal, which is amplified with the additional lifesteal of the Mask of Madness. One thing that you have to note about the Mask of Madness that I didn't talk about yet is that when you use it, it does reduce your armor and it does silence you. So that means that your bear can't use the Savage Roar ability. However, most of his abilities are just passives in terms of Demolish and Entangling Claws. He doesn't use Return very often, and if you're using Return, then it's probably not anywhere in a situation where you would be using your Mask of Madness. And from this point on, he's just going to continue to farm. He does have his Javelin, which builds into his MKB. If the Luna was going to go for a butterfly, the MKB would be very, very beneficial. There's a lot of carry heroes who like to build into butterflies, so you definitely might want to consider going MKB over Desolator. Who knows, it might just be the new standard way to play. I have been experimenting with it myself, and I really do like going for the MKB as well. The Abyssal, however, gives you really fast tower push. Like if you have an Abyssal Blade, towers just melt. Now, Lone Druid's just farming the top of the map, and the reason he's farming here, notice that he can't see anyone else on the map, and right here actually our Luna shows up. So he doesn't have vision of anyone else, but he has True Form up. And the thing about True Form is that you have to start casting it right away because it has... How long does it take to activate? Does it say transform time? 1.933 seconds. While Lone Druid is transforming, he does not get the additional health or damage. Oh, this fight's going down. He gets the claws off. We're gonna watch how he uses his Savage Roar. Did I miss it? I missed the Savage Roar, didn't I? I'm gonna go back 10 seconds. All right, here he is. I'm gonna go back a couple more seconds because Savage Roar, I know he uses it really effectively to get kills here. He's gonna come forward. He's gonna Savage Roar 2 people away before activating his Mask of Madness. So that's a really heads up play there. It's actually so important to Savage Roar before your Mask of Madness because it gives you the ability, if you Savage Roar before your Mask of Madness and then you activate your phase boots, it lets you chase people down while they're running away feared at a faster speed, and it lets you use your ability a little bit more frequently because you can't use it after you Mask of Madness, obviously. What was I saying? I was saying the Lone Druid transform time. Now, it's important when you're playing against heroes who do a lot of burst damage to anticipate the fact that you have transform time. A hero that you would be worried about being able to burst and kill you on this team would be the Void Spirit and the Bane. So if we're looking at this team that they're playing against, the Void Spirit and the Bane would be the big threats, because if you get Fiends Grifted, or if you get initiated on with a Astral Step and an Astral Remnant, it could be really bad for you if you don't cast True Form. However, once you start casting True Form, even if a Chronosphere goes off or anything happens to you, you will continue to execute the True Form transformation, and then after 1.933 seconds you will turn into your full grown bear, getting a bonus at level 2, 1000 HP and bonus 15 armor, which is really amazing when it comes to saving your life. And all of the time that that's happening, you should be microing your bear. While you're transforming, your bear needs to be attacking, because your Lone Druid will be able to regenerate almost to full health almost all of the time. Now watch how this goes down. Actually, you're gonna see the regenerative power right now. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about. The Lone Druid is tanking all of this damage. The bear is attacking. The Lone Druid is getting hit by Roshan, but you see how much he's healing, and that's why this build is so powerful, because of the heal that comes out of the bear for the Lone Druid. If he gets initiated on and his bear has the ability to attack, he's going to basically heal up his full life full health bar almost every time. Now he has True Form available again. At level 10, he's taking the 25 Spirit Bear talent. They do get a kill right there with the Roar on Beastmaster. And we're going to see more awesome Savage Roar opportunities. Not Beastmaster Roar opportunities, Savage Roar opportunities. You're going to see some really cool plays come out of Gunner in terms of being able to use this Savage Roar. Right now, they are ahead. They do have control of the map, so they have a pretty firm grasp of this game. And the Lone Druid also has the Aegis. Now, I personally don't love putting the Aegis on my Lone Druid, and the reason for that is because if your Lone Druid dies without a bear being available for resummoning, he's basically useless. I try to keep my Lone Druid safe somewhere where my bear available. Try to keep my Lone Druid safe with my bear sitting somewhere. I try to keep my Lone Druid in a safer position and not lose my second bear while playing extra safe if I have a second bear. Now check this out. There was the Roar that just came out. The initiation happened. The Void Spirit got himself killed because the second he astraled in, he got roared right away with the Savage Roar. Now they're gonna try to take this team fight. The bear and, well, they're both bears. Both bears are attacking. Both bears have entangling claws and they're going off pretty often. They catch the Phoenix. They've almost completely wiped the Dire squad here. Coach B is running away. Everyone's running away. They do get a root off on the Bane. Bane is going to die as well, it looks like. And now they have the opportunity to push in mid completely. Ooh. So Aegis is still available. The bear is available. 4 heroes are dead, and we're going to see them start pushing the high ground. Now, if he did go for the Desolator instead of MKB, this high ground would die a little bit faster, but I do like the MKB, as I was saying before, and we'll see what they're able to do. Now, check out this play. Oh my god, that was so awesome. Watch this. I'm going to have to slow it down a little bit, because watch what Phoenix does. So Phoenix is going to come forward, and look at how heads up Gunnar is. Watch, the swoop comes in. Here he comes, roars him, forces him to fear, turns the bear around, activates the phase boots, activates the Mask of Madness, and he's going to be able to kill the Phoenix just because he's so good at using Savage Roar on Lone Druid. That is miraculously good play. You have to be impressed. And here he is constantly using Roar. This is why you take the minus 10 seconds Savage Roar cooldown. You should be definitely taking that talent. I know some people like the Spirit Bear armor, but after you build the MKB and the Mask of Madness, like I said, you usually go for the Assault Cuirass, which is exactly what Gunnar's doing. He's going to go for the Assault Cuirass, which gives you a significant amount of bonus armor, so you don't really need to go for the talent. And here he is using another Roar to try to save his team. He did resummon his bear now, so if his bear dies here, his Aegis is completely useless, which is why sometimes I don't like having the Aegis on my Lone Druid. I prefer having it on a different hero. Now they've lost the Beastmaster, and this Dire squad is pushing forward. I don't think they want to fight them here. They're all kind of low. They're trying to get out. Queen of Pain blinks back, and Gunnar is just going to take this opportunity to farm this jungle. He's not just going to TP to base and wait for them to show up, which is what a lot of lower MMR players would do. Instead, he's maximizing his farm in the time it takes them to do any objectives, which they still have to go through a tier 1 tower mid, a tier 2 tower mid, and all the while he's going to be able to put pressure on their creep waves and their lanes, sending forward a catapult, sending forward his bear. His team's actually fighting, which I don't think they should be. I don't know if they're strong enough to fight right now, but either way, actually it looks like they are. Lone Druid teleports in, they get the Will-O-Wisp off, they get the fear off, and they are able to kill the Death Prophet. So I guess I was crazy right there saying that they shouldn't fight. They kill the Phoenix as well. They chase her down, and now they're gonna go back high ground. Lone Druid killing another creep wave here. Both mid creep lanes are moving. You can see that top creep wave that Lone Druid had pushed in is pushing in now, so the Luna has to go deal with that while they are able to attack the mid tower. And they already used Glyph in the last fight, so this is pretty easy for them. They do still have the Aegis available. He's sending the bear forward, trying to get any Savage Roars off that might be possible. Doesn't get any. Uses his Savage Roar again. He's using it all of the time. For people who never use their Savage Roars, pay attention to how much Gunnar uses it and how powerful it has been. Now he backs up his bear significantly. Notice that he uses true form here. He does get saved by a force staff. The bear runs forward and fears the whole team away. And now he might lose his bear, which he does, but he resummons another one right away. And he has given his bear the items to upgrade to the Assault Cuirass. If he had attacked these camps here, he might have been able to regen some health, but he's coming forward, uses another fear, gets some more damage off on the Bane, and they managed to take the full lane of Rax. They've lost a Bounty Hunter, and the Void Spirit is alive, but holy, they are doing fine. And look how fast he's healing health. And this is on a full HP, or that was on a transformed bear. And now when you untransform, you basically go back to full health because you get whatever the difference is in health. And he's going to just continue to farm the jungle now. His next item is most likely, going to be a Skull Basher because he's going to build into an Abyssal. And this is your standard build with the exception of the MKB, which actually, like I said multiple times, might be the new standard MKB instead of Deso. I love it. I love this way of playing. I do still like Radiance games from time to time on Lone Druid, but I really like the power that this Mask of Madness gives you with this bear and the attack speed and everything that he's got. And I notice he's teleporting right now. He's gonna have his bear show up at the same time. They are trying to stay in a safe area. He's playing behind his team. He's taking some safe farm here, and they're gonna look for another fight within the next few minutes. Now, our Lone Druid is he going to take this outpost? Yes, he is. He's going to take the outpost. And as you can see, they are pinging, or the Lone Druid is pinging to take the bottom tower. Now, they see Luna here. Oh, I remember what happens because I watched this replay real quick before. Check this out. Sends the bear forward, gets the Savage Roar off, cancels his teleportation, comes over here, and he's just going to force down the Luna. So the Luna is going to attack. The Luna's not going to do anything. The Luna's going to get roared again, forces her to turn back around uncontrollably this way, and just gets herself killed. So there you go. Another beautiful usage of Savage Roar to cancel the teleportation on Luna and get a core pick off. That's got to hurt for the Dire squad. Almost any chances that they had were being eradicated there. Now you can see their team is getting caught top up here. Queen of Pain is trying to blink away. Phoenix is doing some work, and all of this time that they're doing this, the Lone Druid and the Beastmaster are going to push together. They are such fast pushers. The whole team is being occupied top, and while they're occupied top, they will attack. They take the tier 2 tower. Now they have complete control of the map because they basically have all of their tier 1s and 2s up, with the exception of the bottom tier 1 tower, and they're putting some pressure on the high ground. They do force the glyph, which means that within 5 minutes, when they go high ground, they will have the ability to attack this tower without them having a glyph available, and that is just A1 gameplay. Next, he is going for a nullifier. Ooh, I like that. I like it. He's building a nullifier next. I very rarely see a nullifier on Lone Druid. I would think that he was going to complete the Abyssal Blade. Here it is again. Another beautiful roar. He almost killed him. The Astral Step came forward. He roared him, and then he started attacking him quickly once he activated his Mask of Madness. He's going to run forward again, get a kill on. So they managed to kill the Void Spirit. They killed the Phoenix, and now they're just going to start attacking bottom tower because mid lane is pushing in. This creep wave isn't quite here yet, but because this creep wave is pushing in, they are able to take the bottom racks. That's why it's always really important to control your creep waves. And this game is looking very formally done, I would say. They're just cleaning things up. They kill the Death Prophet. They've almost completely killed everyone. The Lone Druid does not have true form yet or anymore, and he's actually decided to take the 0 second entangle cooldown. This lets entangle be cast pretty much all of the time, due to the fact that it normally has a 5-second cooldown, and a 0 second cooldown with the speed that the bear attacks at is amazing, and they're so far ahead. So they are pretty much I think done this game. There's no buybacks left. Luna's the last player to buy back, but with the amount of damage they do and the speed that they take towers at, we're gonna see them end this game right about now. And guys, that was, I wish I could have showed the other game, but this game turned out to be just as fantastic of a replay analysis, so I'm very happy about that. So here we are on the Dota Buff website to take a look at some other builds and timings, and you'll notice that we have some people who go Mask of Madness first. This is mid lane, as I was saying before. Some people go Mask of Madness first in the safe lane. we saw Gunnar go for the phase boots first in the safe lane, and then Mask of Madness second, which is what I would prefer. But it's whatever you like to play. How you guys try it out. Let me know how it goes. And then these are some Mkb builds, followed up by an what is this over here? A Moon Shard, and then a Skull Basher. That's kind of interesting. And then a Daedalus, Solar Crest, and Divine Rapier. This guy's going crazy. On this build, we have phase boots into Monkey King Bar. Notice that both timings are getting me MKBs around 18 minutes. Here we have Mask of Madness, or phase boots, Mask of Madness into Desolator. So Desolator is the more common, or was the more common way to play, but it seems to be kind of changing with the MKB buildup. The Desolator again, so phase boots, Mask of Madness, Desolator. So when you go for the Desolator timing, you're looking around 17 minutes for these people. Now, this I've been seeing as well, which is the Mask of Madness into Radiance buildup, Radiance, and then Assault Cuirass and Skull Basher. This I do like. I still think Radiance is really good, especially with the split push potential that the bear gives you. We see another one here with a Mask of Madness Radiance build. We have a Mask of Madness Desolator build into Skull Basher and Moonshard. I like the Moonshard pickups. I'm not gonna lie, Moonshard is so good on the bear, especially if you get an Abyssal Blade. You basically like bash all of the time. It's just insane. You perma-stun someone almost. This was Mask of Madness into Skull Basher and then MKB, and finishing off the Abyssal into the Assault Cuirass. Very cool. Looks like he's going for the crit damage next, and we see more similar items. So these are to give you some ideas about the timings. Now let's talk about Lone Druid and his counter list. So Lone Druid is countered by people who can close distance on him, and that he cannot close distance on himself. So let's think about heroes that might be. If we take a look here, the first one you might think of is Huskar. Now, Huskar is not such a bad matchup anymore because of how strong True Form is and how powerful your Savage Roar is. So if you have Savage Roar available, you can usually survive against Huskar in the early levels. I wouldn't put Naga Siren is actually pretty hard to deal with, though. I personally don't like playing against Lone Druid as a Naga Siren. No, I personally don't like playing against Naga Siren as a Lone Druid. Other heroes that are hard to deal with, I wouldn't say Bristleback so much, but the OD can burst your main hero down sometimes. I don't think that it's a terrible matchup, though, for Lone Druid. PA is sometimes very strong against Lone Druid. This one kills me right here, the Pangolier and the Razor. So Pangolier's Rolling Thunder can just absolutely upset your whole team fight. It messes your hero up, it messes your bear up. He's very strong against Lone Druid. I think Pango is a pretty good counter. However, if Lone Druid does get one root off, Pango's kind of dead. So it goes both ways. Pango also, I don't think, likes playing against Lone Druid that much either, because that one root usually ends up getting the Pango killed. He doesn't have anything to purge it off. Beastmaster is a hero that can be very effective against Lone Druid because Beastmaster has Savage Roar and sometimes he buys Blink. So if he gets the Blink initiation on the Lone Druid before he uses his True Form, he can get kills like that. And then the Chaos Knight can be good. Anyone who can try to basically lock down the Lone Druid while his bear isn't able to attack. So Morph can shotgun him. Terrorblade's good because he can just take down the bear, especially with Metamorphosis. Wind Ranger can lock them together. Weaver can Sakuchi through them. Slardar reduces his armor. Clinks would target the Lone Druid himself and avoid the bear. Templar Assassin I don't think is very good against Lone Druid personally, because Lone Druid attacks so fast with the bear and both heroes. I don't think Templar is a great matchup against him. We take a look at Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer is like if you're playing against a Phantom Lancer, you basically need to go Mask of Madness into Mjolnir, but Phantom Lancer's Diffusal Blade makes it so hard for you to have mana. Once he burns your bear's mana, he can't do anything. And let's see heroes that Lone Druid is advantageous against. We have advantageous section. Oh man, so Lone Druid is awesome against Anti-Mage. I like him against Spectre. I like him against Zeus. He's good against like all of these heroes here because of how good Savage Roar is. So if he gets a Savage Roar on Storm Spirit and then he gets a root off, the Storm Spirit dies, Zeus dies, Anti-Mage dies, Shadow Shaman can't do anything because if Shadow Shaman tries to play, any hero that relies on a channeling ability isn't very good against Lone Druid because that hero will either be attacked by the Druid or by the Bear. So if you take a look at Pudge and Shadow Shaman can shackle one of them, but the other one's going to be attacking you. Same with Pudge. If he dismembers you, the other one's going to be attacking you. If he dismembers you, the other one can Savage Roar to save it. The Void Spirit, as we saw, that game did not have the greatest game. Puck is actually a pretty good Lone Druid counter, I'm not gonna lie, because he can coil you in place and silence you. So sometimes Puck can be really good. It depends on how good the Puck player is. The skill cap for Pucks is like really widely varying, so it can change a lot. Legion Commander can get a lot of good duels off on Lone Druid, and let's see, Skywrath is a hero that can also burst down the Lone Druid if Doom gets Doom off first. Juggernaut, not so much. And that's kind of about it. Alchemist is like so-and-so. We're kind of in the middle of the brackets there. So that is how I would think the heroes break down. Regardless of hero counters, the worst thing that could happen to your Lone Druid is to lose your bear twice in a row, because then you are basically a walking creep. Thank you all for watching the video. Again, on behalf of myself, Navetz, and my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, I hope you enjoyed. You can catch me on twitch.tv playing live, or you can wait for the next video. Thank you all so much. One love.